Hey guys, it's Freak, and welcome to episode 13 of my custom story creation tutorial for Amnesia Rebirth. And today we're going to be talking about patrolling. So we've written 2 episodes on enemies, and today we're going to do how to make our ghoul here patrol around an area that we specify. So it's actually pretty simple, not really too involved, but there are some useful things that you might want to know. So I'm going to walk you guys through it and get you guys going on your custom story for this. So first thing you want to know is if you didn't watch the first part on enemies, we put down these path nodes here. We found it under here, areas, and then if you scroll down here, you'll find path nodes. So the enemy needs to know where he needs to go, like what areas he can walk in. So we put down these path nodes so he knows like these are the places where you can travel to, you can travel between. So by putting these down in your level, he can like map out a route to any point. So like if he's here, he can go here, and he knows he can jump across here and pretty much travel through between any of these points here. So make sure you have these, and make sure you they have the proper names too. By default, they'll just be path node, and we won't be changing the name. We'll be using whatever the default name is here. So yeah, so just make sure you have those down. And before we jump to our script, to script this, just wanted to show we have a script area down here. It's called trigger bottom stairs, and what it does is that when it collides with a player, it calls the function called onCollide player trigger bottom stairs, and that's a function that we wrote on our script, which I'll switch to now. So let's go ahead and switch now. Here's our script. Let's zoom in here, and we have our right here onCollide player trigger bottom stairs. And what we do is we if the player, we're saying if all state equals 1, which means that the player entered the area, we call our timer here. So we're calling a timer, and in 10 seconds we'll spawn that ghoul, and then we return false so that we don't run that same function again, only once. And then the timer here is called, and when the timer is called, we just make the entity spawn. And we did have some stuff here in the previous episodes, but I cleared it just to kind of make way for what we're going to be doing in today's episode. So we'll go ahead and make a new line here. All right, and let's start talking about how to make them patrol. Before we write any of these functions, make sure, I mentioned it in the last episodes, but make sure you have this include helpers / helper _ agent.hps added to the top of your script. This has all the helper functions that let us execute this kind of stuff to control our agent here, our ghoul. So make sure you have that, and you should be able to execute these commands no problem. So we have here entity set active ghoul hallway, which is the name of our ghoul, and we have it set to true, so it is active. And now what I'm going to do here, just for testing purposes, to make sure that it's working properly, we're going to add the line agent set senses active. It should be the first one here, and I'll hit enter here. And what this should do is just disable our ghoul's senses to prevent him from attacking us, and he just kind of follows our instruction. This is just for testing so that we know everything's working fine. Normally you can exclude this if you want him to chase after you and hit you and stuff like that. So this is going to be ghoul hallway here, and make sure we got that S taken care of here. And we're going to say false because we want to disable his senses, and we'll close that out with our semicolon. And so now his senses are disabled, so we can just test. And if you guys haven't done this before, I recommend putting in this line just so that he doesn't attack you, and you can just kind of see the ghoul do everything. So so there's 2 ways we want to. I'm going to show you guys to do this patrolling. One is by, and it'll become clear in a moment, but I just kind of want to go over it. One is by setting the mode of the ghoul to patrol, and the other is by commanding the ghoul to patrol. So 2 different ones, and I'll explain both again when I write them down. But pretty much, one, you kind of put them in a mode that you want them to be in, and you can switch in and out of that mode whenever you want. And the other one, you're just telling the ghoul, hey, do this, patrol, and do this, and you're done. So those are the two differences, and I'll explain why you would want to use one over the other in a moment. But let's start with how to get the patrol mode set up. So first thing you want to do when you want to set up a patrol for your ghoul, you're gonna type in ghoul underscore mode underscore set, and you got the first value here is going to be the name of your ghoul, so we'll say ghoul hallway. Then the next one is the mode you want to put your ghoul in. So we want to put our ghoul in patrol mode, so we're going to say e ghoul mode. And there's other modes here. If you wanted to set them into different modes, you can do that as well. And we will be talking about some of these other ones, like guard and stuff. But those will be in future episodes. But for today, we're just going to be talking about patrol. We'll do ghoul mode patrol. Then we'll do comma space, and then force is whether or not you want to force the state change. So what this pretty much means is that do you want to have the ghoul drop everything he's doing at the moment and just go straight into the state? Or do you want him to change into the state whenever he's ready? So like, I guess if he spotted the player and you call this and force it, then he'll just stop everything he's doing to go do what you just told him to do, to change the mode. So normally you would want this to be false. And since here it says AB force equals false, this means that by default it is false. So technically you don't even need to put this. You could just leave it like this and it's good. Since we do want it to be false, we can just exclude it. But if you did want it to be true, then put a comma and put true there. But we're gonna exclude it. And next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up our ghoul mode patrol now. So we're gonna put it right above this. You can put it below, but I'm gonna put it right above here. And we're gonna say ghoul mode patrol. And once we type that, there's only 4 functions here that pertain to mode patrol. And we're going to be doing the setup right now, and we'll do add node after that. But some other ones to note here, that like you can clear the nodes that you have. Actually, I'll explain this in a moment once we do the setup, because it'll make a little more sense. So let's do the setup, and then I'll go over those additional functions there. So we'll do this one here, ghoul mode patrol setup. So we'll hit enter here, and so what you want to put here first is the name of the ghoul. And then we'll do a comma space, and then AB random pretty much means, do you want him to patrol the specified nodes, the nodes you provided, at random, or do you want him to patrol the nodes in order as to the way that you added them? So we're gonna have to add what nodes you want him to patrol, and if this is set to false, then it will just patrol it in that order. If you say go to path node 1, and then go to path node 3, then he'll go 1 and he'll go 3. But if you set this to random, he might do 3 and then 1, and then he might do 1 and then 3, and just like that. By default it is false. We will have this false because we don't want him to do anything random right now. And then then you can set a speed, and we're gonna do e ghoul speed. And then when you type this in, you'll see all the options for ghoul speed. So you can pretty much pick any of these that you want here. You can do walk, fast run, faster walk, lunge, run, slow run, walk, any of these. You can set any of these that you want. And these are just kind of like the movement speeds and the animations he'll do when he walks. We'll just do a regular walk here. And again, since this says equal here, equals false, and equals speed, it means by default, if you don't specify these 2 values here, it will default this one to false, which we did set, and will default this one to equals speed walk, which is what we put. So we can also just clear this one and input it here, but I will leave it there, just for the visuals in this case, because it's good to know these here, because you might want to put something different in that case. All right, so far we have the ghoul spawning. We have his senses being disabled, just so we can witness it and test it properly. Now we're setting up the mode patrol. We're setting up the patrol mode. on the Ghoul hallway, the Ghoul in the hallway, we don't want it to be random, and we want it to be walking speed. Then we actually set the mode to be patrol, so we'll say Ghoul hallway equal patrol mode. So so we set them to be patrol. But now we need to add the nodes. So I want to add the nodes up here before we actually do this. So let me just kind of make a little space here so we know that this is going to be pretty much the last thing we do. And then we're going to type in Ghoul, and we're going to say mode patrol, and then we're going to say add node. So now there's a few values here you can put, and again the ones that have equals or do have default values already, so you don't have to specify them. But we will go through them. So first we want to do the name of the Ghoul again, so Ghoul hallway, and then we'll put comma space. Now this is the path node that we want to go to. So as you saw, we had the path nodes in the map. So I'll show you which one we're going to actually go to. But first, let's just go through these functions. The variables for this function here. So we're just going to say path node 14 here. We got to make sure we put that in quotation marks here, though. Path node 14. And then we'll do comma space. And then this is the minimum amount of time that the Ghoul should wait at the last point before he moves on to the next one. In this case, 0 is the default, which means he. So there's two values here. So there's 0 and there's -1, so max wait time. So if let's say you put 1 and 3, right? So if the minimum wait time is 1 and the max wait time is 3, he will stop on that point for anywhere between 1 to 3 seconds. Before moving on to the the next path node that you specified. So by default this is set to 0 and max wait time is set to -1, which is pretty means he won't wait. He'll just get there and then he'll move on to the next one instantly. We will leave it at that, but you could specify however you want. So we'll do 0 -1. And then for animation name, if you want to play a specific animation when he gets to this node, you can have it play an animation. Useful when you want him to, like, let's say like scream or screech or like sniff or something like that. You can put an animation here to do that. But we're just gonna put it blank here because we don't want him to do anything. We just want him to like move on to the next point. And then we'll do comma here, space, and then this is whether or not the animation should loop. In this case, we're not playing an animation anyway, so we'll just set this to false. And again, these 4 right here, since they have the equals 0 equals -1, that means they all have default values, so you don't have to specify any of these 4. You can just exclude them. The only 2 required ones are the top 2, but we'll leave them just for demonstration, and we'll put our semicolon at the end here. Alright, and then we want him to go back to the original node that he's at. So let me bring up the level editor now here. It's a little zoomed in, but you should be able to see everything here. So 14, I think it's this one right here. 14, so you see path node _14. So we want him to walk to 14, and then we want him to walk back to, let's say, path node 1. So we'll have him go 14 and then 1. So let's go ahead and go back to our script here, and we're gonna just pretty much copy and paste this node, and we'll paste it here, and then we'll set this to be 1. So now he should go. So again, since we set random to be false, he should do this in the exact order we added it. So he will go to 14 first, and then go to 1, so he'll go there and then back. And by default, when you do Ghoul mode patrol setup, by default it does loop, so it'll just loop through your nodes. So if you have 14 and 1, it'll just go 14 and then it'll go back and do 1, and then it'll go back to 14, and it'll just non-stop loop like that. And I will show you how to do just 1 or 2. Technically, if you want them to only do 1, and you want to do it this way, you could just not put a 1 here, just to add the 1 node. So all he'll do is just go to 14 and then stop. And you could, that pretty much would be the same as doing it once. But I'm going to show you that when I show you the second way of how to set up the patrol node, that's how you can kind of control how many times you want them to patrol. And you can also do a callback, which is useful. But let's first I want to test this, and then I'll go over the differences between the this one and the other way I'm going to show you. So we're going to hit save here, and now we'll just talk about the two other functions I mentioned. This is ready to test, but I want to show you guys the other two functions. So let me make a new line here, and let's do Ghoul underscore mode patrol. So we talked about the setup. We talked about adding the node. So the last two are set speed and clear nodes. So for set speed, you notice how we did e-ghoul mode, e-ghoul speed walk. If let's say you wanted to change this, if you wanted to change this when, like, let's say the player enters a room or something and you want to change it, you could change it, and you could just say, you know, e-ghoul speed. You could set the new speed here. So you just do, you know, we run this one. We'll say like Ghoul hallway, and then again, this is like after the fact. We want to change it to something else. By default, again, it just defaults to walk, but you could specify your own, and we will just kind of like write it out here. Let's say now you want them to start fast walking, so you do fast walk, and then you close it out, and then now it doesn't change the path that he's taking or anything like that. It doesn't change the fact that he's patrolling. All it does is change his speed. So this could be done after the fact, and like I said, like for an example, like the player enters a room that's like farther away, and you want him to now start patrolling a little faster. You could execute this function here and have the player, the ghoul, now start moving faster in his patrol area that you specified. So that's a good one to know. And we'll just grade this one out because we don't want to execute it right now. And then the next one is going to be Ghoul. And then we'll say mode patrol, and then it is clear nodes. So we add two nodes here, 14 and 1. And let's say now the player enters a new area of the map, and we want our ghoul to now patrol a new area in that new part of the map that he's in. So now when that happens, let's say the player enters a new area, and now we want to change the patrolling of our ghoul. We want to run this first, so we'll hit enter here, and then nothing's required but the name of the ghoul. So we'll just type its name in, and now these old path nodes are cleared, and now you can start putting in some new path nodes. So then, you know, after you clear his nodes, now you want him to go somewhere else. So now you can, you know, for example, copy this and say go to, you know, path node 10 now, and then, you know, paste this down here, and then 1. So now you want him to patrol path node 10 and path node 1 now. And you could do, and that's how you would do it somewhere down the line that you would want to do it. So good function to know there. And let's go ahead and clear these out here just so that we can not have it run when we test it. So now that we've got those out the way, let's go ahead and just test our basic path node here. So let's go ahead and run our game and check it out. Alright, so here we are in our game. So let's go ahead and head down the bottom of our stairs here and trigger that timer, and let's watch our ghoul kind of work. So let's go down, and we'll walk through this area here. So now the timer should start, and our ghoul should spawn in about 10 seconds. So let's run up quickly, and let's wait for him to spawn and check him out. So let's see. There he is, and you can see right away he starts walking. Notice he's taking that same path that we have here, that we made out for him. And he should go down to 14, which is about there, and then he should head back to 1. So let's see. So there he goes. We got there, and now he's gonna head back to his point. Sometimes he can take a funky route, so it looks like he wanted to kind of take the weird long way around. So I think it's just because I have way too many points around here, or maybe he's getting stuck down here somewhere on a platform here or something. And now he's good. Probably want to not put so many patrol point or path nodes around here. And he's going to be heading back to 1, which is about like right here. Yep. And now he's going to head back, and he's going to do it all over again. So yep. So that's pretty much it for the patrolling using that function. So let's head back and just kind of go over the other way that we're going to do the patrolling. That kind of lets you have a bit more control, but at the same time less, like it's a little more for a one-off kind of situation. So let's head back to our script. Alright, so here we are back in our script. So we saw that he went down, he went to our point, he went to 14, then he went back to 1, and then he went ahead and repeated. So when we do it this way, this will loop infinitely by default. There's no way to specify a specific way, at least when we do it this way. This is good because the benefits of doing it this way is that you can change the mode whenever you want. So if you plan on changing his mode to something else, this would be the perfect way to do it. So you can have him patrol, and then let's say later you wanted to change his mode to like guard, or change his mode to hunt or something like that. This would probably be the way to go, and especially if you just want to kind of go on forever. This is not typically the way that developers do it, at least not in every situation. They prefer to use the command way to do it, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So what we're going to do, I don't want to clear all this code. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of put slashes here and kind of just comment everything out here, so that way you can still see it if you need it. But we're going to, none of this should run now that we commented. We're just going to go to some new space, make some new space down here, and talk about the other functions and the other way that we're going to have them patrol. So what we're going to type now is Ghoul _ command patrol, and here's the 4 functions. So command patrol, pretty much what it does is the difference between just setting a mode and running the command patrol is pretty much in the mode, when you set a mode, you're kind of telling the Ghoul, like, okay, I want you to start doing this now, like I want you to be in this state now, I want you to be patrolling, I want you to be guarding, and just do whatever we've already set you to do, and just do it like that. When it's command, you're pretty much telling the Ghoul, okay, we're commanding you now, do this, and do it exactly like this, the way I'm going to specify right now. This is not like saved. Like for example, like if we set all of this right, and we had Ghoul mode set here, for example, and let's say later in the level when the player does something else, we want to change his mode to like hunt. So let's say later on we change, let's say like this is some other place, we change his mode, Ghoul mode, let's do mode, and we'll do guard, right? So we have him guard something now, but now we want to go back to our patrol, but we don't want to specify all this stuff. We don't want to re-specify this stuff, but we don't have to, because we already specified it before. He already knows what his patrol mode is, so then you can just quickly change it right away. So you can say Ghoul mode, and we'll say patrol, and then now he'll just do whatever you told him to before, and you don't have to specify any more details than that. You just tell him, set your mode to patrol, and he's just gonna do what you told him to do before, because that's what you set it to when you did like the setup here. But now a command, clear this, and now command is like, I want you to do this with these specific values, do it right now, and he'll just go and do it, and then when he's done with it. So let's go ahead and go back here to this here, and let's do our Ghoul command patrol here. And if we look at the 4, these pretty much are the same 4 that we have before. We have our add node, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's the add node. Clear nodes does the same thing as the other clear node. Set speed does the same exact thing, and then execute will execute whatever you specified before. But there are a few more values that we can add here. So let's go ahead and implement a patrol now, but with this way, do the command patrol. So first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and add our nodes that we want. So if you notice, these are the exact same values that we provided here in the Ghoul mode patrol. This is identical. So what we're going to do is we're just literally going to copy what we have here. This doesn't change from what I explained the patrol mode. So we'll just put those in there, and then we'll go ahead and go to a new line, and we'll add we'll copy and paste it here, and we'll change this from 14 to 1, and now he has 14, he has 1. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to run the execute. So we'll do Ghoul command patrol, and it's going to be execute. So now notice we have different values for this one as opposed to the Ghoul mode set. Ghoul mode set was pretty simple. It was just 3 values, I believe, and that was it. But this one we can specify a lot more detail here than we could before. So let's run through all of these, and we'll go ahead and hit enter here to get it here, and then we'll put Ghoul hallway, and then cause that's the name of our Ghoul, and then this is gonna be the same as before. It's whether or not we want it to force change him right away. So force, he'll drop everything he's doing and he'll go do this command that you tell him to. You commanded him to do it, he'll do it right away. False will pretty much means that he'll do it at the next best time to switch his state. We'll just say false, that is the default. But you could, since it is kind of a command, you could set true. But false just kind of makes them seem more natural. So this is a different value from the one in the other method. This one we can specify the amount of times that this patrol should occur, how many times you should loop it. So this is the big probably one of the bigger differences, along with the callback, that changed this one from this one to. That makes the bigger difference between this one and the other way. So in this one, you can't set this to an unlimited times. Of course, you could set this to like a really high number, and realistically, this will never, the Ghoul will never do this enough before the player progresses. But technically, this can't be unlimited when you call it this way, the loop. So this is typically for just having the Ghoul loop a certain number of times that you specify. We're just going to do 1, which means he's just going to do it once and he's done. I'll explain why we're doing that. That's because of the callback, but we'll talk about that in a second. So we'll do comma space. This is the same value as the other one, whether or not you want them to patrol the points you provided, 14 and 1 at random. We're going to say false. We want them to do it in order. Then we'll do comma space. And then again, just the Ghoul speed. So we'll do Ghoul speed, and we'll do walk, and we'll do comma space. And now another strong part about doing a command patrol is the completed callback. So when the Ghoul completes his patrol that you specified, you can call a function to have things happen. So this is probably the strongest aspect of running it this way, and probably a majority of the reason why the developers use this primarily as opposed to the other state. It's just more powerful as opposed to being a little less convenient, because you have to specify all this information every time you want to run it. We'll go ahead and make a callback here. We're gonna say on patrol finish underscore, and we'll say we'll put the name of the Ghoul, so we'll do Ghoul hallway. All right, and we'll go ahead and close out our line here now. And now outside of our function here, we're gonna make a new function here, and we're gonna do void, and we'll copy the name of our function that we specified. We'll paste it right here, and we'll do open and close parentheses. And we'll just do our open curly brace and close curly brace, but there's something we're going to put in here. We're going to put const for constant, and we'll say t string space and in as entity. So this is pretty much going to have like the same format as this one, but instead of as timer, you're going to have as entity. We might have some other ones that have as entity, yeah, like this one, constant string, t string and in as entity, just like that. Same thing goes here. The entity here, the as entity, this is just the name of the entity who's finished its patrol. So this is gonna come out to be Ghoul hallway. That's gonna be what this value means, but we don't need it right now. What we're gonna do is just print out a message that tells us that the Ghoul has finished his patrol. So we're gonna print the debug message just for us to see it, and we'll replace this with let's just say patrol finished. And we'll go ahead and save here. So patrol. So he will. So just to review this. So we add a new command, and we told him to add a new node, path node 14 and 1, and then we're telling him to execute the patrol command with these values here. So we're going to tell him to walk there. We're going to have a callback with this name here, which pretty much will print this debug message when he's done patrolling. He will only loop it once, but you can put this to whatever you want. And since we specified that it shouldn't be random, then this will run in the exact order we added it. So it will be 14 and then 1. So let's go ahead and hit save, and then let's go ahead and give it a run and check it out. So let's go ahead and hit F7 to execute our game. Alright, so we're back in our game. So let's go ahead and go down and see to make sure that it worked. So let's go all the way down to the bottom. Let's trigger our timer here. So we should have triggered it. Now it should be spawning any moment now. So let's head back to the top of the stairs and just watch him. So he should pretty much do exactly what he did before, but we told him to only do it once, so loop 1. So he should only go down to 14 here, path node 14, and then come back and stop at 1, and that his loop is over, and he should just stand there, and we should get our debug message to come up and show. Of course, he's gonna take his sweet time. Probably just put less path nodes down here. He's probably gonna do another loop here like last time. Oh no, he's coming up. All right, so he's gonna come back here and he's gonna stop here, and then we should see our message come up any moment now. All right, there he is. And then if you look down here, patrol finished. So that callback occurred properly. So then in that callback, you could execute whatever you want, have them do whatever you want. So if you only wanted them to patrol like once or twice, you can have that callback happen, and then just say, you can, like, for example, like make him disappear, set him inactive so that he just disappears, so that the player can go do other things and not worry about the ghouls. So probably one of the major uses of doing something like that. But of course you can do whatever you want. So let's head back to our script and just kind of wrap up and kind of just go over what we did today, and just kind of go over everything. So let's go back to our script. All right, so here we are back in our script. So and just wanted to recap it one more time. If you do ghoul command patrol, you get the same 4 functions you get as the previous one. And again, if you want to clear your nodes, you can clear nodes here, and you can set speed here. So again, this would be more of like an on-demand kind of use. I think you do still have to clear your nodes beforehand, although it's just a good thing to do when you run it this way. So if you are going to have them execute some new stuff, make sure you clear it and then put new path nodes and stuff like that. Or if you want to set a new speed, you can set a new speed. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this. That's how you get them to patrol and everything. And again, the difference between the two, mainly executing this one is just it's a bit more scripted when you do it this way. This is kind of just like when you want to specify him to do it a certain number of times, and then when he finishes, you can like call some kind of code. In this case, on patrol finish, we have it just print the message here. But of course, you can have it do whatever you want. So this would be more for a very scripted ghoul event where you want him to patrol like 2, 3, 4 times, and then once he's done, you want to like despawn him, or you want him to for some reason just start charging the player after he's patrolled a little bit for some reason. Like if like the player ran out of time, you feel that the players run out of time for trying to solve the puzzle, you can just have the ghoul become aggro. So that's mainly what that's for. And again, the other one is just more for like changing between modes. And you want them to guard, you want them to patrol, you want them to go hunt the player, and you want them to change between those states. That's probably the best way to do it. So this is a bit more simple in the sense that you can just kind of jump in between any states that you want. So pick whichever one you feel is best for you. like I said, developers tend to use this one, but also developers tend to have a bunch of different ghouls in the map at once. They don't really like to reuse the same ghouls. They'll have like a ghoul for every scripted event, and then they'll command them using these commands here. So again, take your pick on which one you feel more comfortable using. If you want to reuse your ghoul a lot, then you might prefer this method. But if you want just like a one-off kind of scripted patrol event, you could do the bottom one here. So just take your pick and choose whichever one you feel is best for you. And with that, I'll wrap up today's episode. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you can add some more detail to your levels with this. This is pretty much going to bring your worlds to life now, your custom stories to life now that you have a ghoul. Be able to do something, and of course make sure you turn off the senses active so that he can actually hunt your player in your custom story. Big thing there. But yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Leave a like on the video, comment on the video, and let me know what you want to see in the future episodes. We're still grinding out these enemy related videos. We have still a few more things to talk about. There's other command functions that we have to go over besides patrol. Yeah, we just have a lot to cover. So make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not already subscribed, so you can see that kind of stuff. Let's finish grinding out all these enemy related videos and move on to some other gameplay related aspects. So again, thanks for all the support, guys. Have a good day. Bye.